the international legitimacy and the state of Palestine.
He commended the Gambia's role in promoting the protection of Muslims, especially in countries where they form the minority, such as in Myanmar, where the Muslim Rohingya minority faced a level of persecution which led some observers to call it genocide. He lauded the Gambia for taking the case to the International Court of Justice and encouraged more solidarity and unity among member states.
The ordeal followed by certain member countries, I have in mind Libya, Yemen, Sudan, the Sahel region. Dialogue and reconciliation are the only means that would enable us to resolve these problems so that these countries may guide their steps towards stability and prosperity and development.
Among other things, Secretary General Taha also challenged members to take proactive action against climate change, support environmental conservation, and fight terrorism. He urged the delegates to contribute to the IOC fund, collaborate more, and work towards addressing issues affecting youth and women. Answane Sonyasi for KTV News. Now addressing the OIC Banjul Summit, President Adama Barrow, who will now serve as chairman of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation for the next 3 years, pledged to promote unity, solidarity, and sustainable development within the Islamic world in keeping with the theme of this year's summit. Juldan Jai tells us more.
Representatives from 57 member countries of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation, including presidents, vice presidents, and prime ministers, gathered in the Gambia for the 15th edition of the OIC Banjul Summit, which commenced on Tuesday. Addressing the gathering on Saturday, President Adama Barrow welcomed and called on them to enjoy every moment of their stay. President Barrow expressed profound appreciation and gratitude to His Majesty King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Theme for their unwavering support and generosity.
We have convened here today with the awareness that the Muslim world faces numerous challenges, ranging from the calamities of terrorism to factional violence and armed conflicts. Amid these unrests, we must reaffirm our commitment to mediation and dialogue as indispensable mechanism to resolve conflict and foster lasting peace. It is fitting, therefore, that the theme for this 15th session is enhancing unity and solidarity through dialogue and sustainable development.
The Gambian leader said, as the chairman of the OIC, his approach will include prioritizing initiatives that enhance economic cooperation, fostering cultural exchanges, and addressing pressing issues such as poverty and access to education and healthcare. Adding that the Gambia, in collaboration with other member states, stands committed to championing the cause of peace and stability in regions troubled by conflict. On the Gaza conflict, the Gambian leader said it is essential to address the prolonged conflict in Palestine and the devastating wars in Gaza, saying those encounters have caused endless human sufferings for over 75 years, which he said is a grave concern to not only the Muslim Ummah, but to the entire world.
I call upon member states to take decisive action to address the root causes of the conflict and work towards a just and lasting solution. This should include convening a comprehensive peace conference for all stakeholders to negotiate a settlement that provides for the rights, dignity, security, and sovereignty of the communities affected. In our view, military action is not an option. Rather, we endorse a peace-accord based on a two-state solution.
President Adama Barrow reaffirmed the need to enable the Palestinian people to regain their legitimate national rights as recognized by the international community through its recognition of a state of Palestine within the 1967 borders with Al-Quds al-Safri as its capital.
To maintain peace and lasting peaceful coexistence in the entire region, as leaders of the Islamic world, we must seize this opportunity to chart a new course towards peace and reconciliation. Let us recommit ourselves to the principles of justice, equality, and mutual respect. Act collectively to end the suffering of the Palestinian people and build a future of peace and prosperity for all.
President Barrow commended South Africa for its recent decision to take Israel to the International Court of Justice, following in the Gambia's footsteps in taking Myanmar to the same court to seek justice under the Genocide Convention. President Barrow's speech was well received by the visiting dignitaries. For QTV News, I am Jules Dengai.
And a report there by Jules Dengai will lead us to the commercial break, but we will be right back.
Money, your ultimate mobile money partner. Cash in now and get credit bonus up to $250. Yes, $250. Need to cash out? Dial *323#, enter your secret PIN and get your one-time password. Give it to any Q Money agent and you are done. Send money to your loved ones with a few taps. Dial *323#, enter the amount and confirm. It's that easy. Top up your cash power on the go. Dial *323#. Register your meter number and receive your token via SMS. Money. This is your calpe way to manage your money.
2024 QTV Tobaski and Style is back. Yokku cere doli ñeex. Wow, ana yeen ñewkat yu ñu taamu di leen gis ngeen di wone seen ay xeetu baax man de sopp naa leen yi ci ay xeetu ñetti morceau tayman grand boubou dagit dress wedding dress lépp ci biir QTV Tobaski and Style rek nga koy gisee QTV nga yeb ko seet Tobaski and Style bi yeen neeni fashion designers dañoo teew QTV nee nañ at bu jot ñu wone seen xarañte ci bile event waaw del si leen yeen ñi fi newoon ñeneen dañ leen di ñëwaat join si mu gën a neex jokkool ak ñoom ci yela number 324 4444 ci QTV QSal building jox nañu ñëpp loxo képp kuy ñawkat designers bépp xeetu bagage boo bëgg àdduna ràññee ko ñu ngi lay wax nga ñëw join si QTV Tobaski and Style 2024 bi du masa yomb yab ñu seet.
Welcome back from that commercial break. Be reminded you're watching QTV Nightly News coming to you from the OIC venue in Bijilo with me, Ansumana Eso Nyasi. Now, following the historic and successful opening of the 15th OIC Summit today, QTV's Alusise spoke to some of the attendees on the Gambia's hosting of the OIC Summit. Here's the report.
People from different walks of life, especially in the Gambia, from politicians to civil society, women and men, all and young, are all here to witness, the official opening of the OIC summit here in Banjul. People are quite proud as Gambians, not just as politicians or civil servants, but as Gambians, they are all proud that the Gambia is hosting the summit and that finally President Barrow has assumed the role of chairmanship of the OIC for the next 3 years. And we spoke to some of them just to sound their views as to how they feel seeing the Gambia hosting the summit.
I'm very, very proud as a Gambian to welcome the Islamic Ummah. Banjul is now the capital of the Islamic Ummah, and also to come and then look at our development agenda and also send the message. Now we'll be having the Banjul Declaration to ensure that peace is really cherished in all parts of the world, and that's the message that we want to see, so that even in Jerusalem, the Holy Land, also let peace reign there.
As a country, we should all be proud of because it's not easy to welcome all these different delegates that have come to Gambia, and inshallah everything went on very, very nice at the opening level. Yeah.
And looking at the benefits, I mean, what do you think the Gambia could benefit going forward?
Well, there's a lot of lessons to learn from this, and there's a lot of benefits that will come. Everybody can see it by themselves, the infrastructural development that is going on. And OIC summit will be finished by tomorrow, the 5th of May, but that does not mean that that's the end of the development.
I also have Alaji Mbai here, Commissioner of Customs. Mr. Mbai, I mean, witnessing the event today, saying the Gambia finally hosting the summit after many years and months of preparations, I mean, how was the feeling like when you were in that hall and seeing the baton being handed over to President Barrow as the chairman of the OIC?
I feel, quite, happy, to also be part of this, history, event, and also for Gambia Gambia, as well as we are hosting this kind of, event, is really something that, every Gambian should be proud of.
I am very happy to be here to support my president and to support this initiative. It's a great pleasure to see the Gambia being identified, to be given the chair among community of nations, and it is our turn. And I think the celebration or the event went on very well, very successful, as small as we are, because people were doubting whether it would happen. But just to tell the people that there were so many postponements in even bigger countries, so Gambia was not a difference.
The Gambia is not as small as it is, because what we have achieved and what we have done is like any other country, sovereign nations. So it is a pride that we as Gambians, under the leadership of His Excellency the President, that we are able to host this for the first time in the history of the country. So it is a real congratulations to His Excellency the President and the Gambian people.
Muslim and Christians in this nation have always had a very good relationship, and we have always celebrated that in the Gambia. So if this country is celebrating such a milestone, it is prudent that the Christians will also be here to celebrate with our brothers and sisters.
The Gambia, this is not the first time Gambia is advocating for peace and stability in not only in our country but in our continent, and including in our region, West Africa. So this is not new, and I believe since the time of Jawara, if you know the history, what former president or late President Jawara have played in terms of maintaining peace and tranquility in the world. So this is something is deeply rooted here in this country.
It's now a pleasure speaking to the Gambia's former Vice President, Eshirinjaya Seydima. You are here witnessing the formal opening of the OIC summit. As a Gambian, how do you feel today?
I feel great and proud. Definitely, it's a pride for the Gambia to host this. It's a pride for His Excellency the President to chair it as well. And it's a pride that we are dealing with critical issues, which I'm sure he has committed himself to achieving and also addressing. I have no doubt by the end of his tenure, all these things would have been addressed, if not all, most of them.
It's a dream come true. You live, Allah endow you with the opportunity and privilege to witness such an important organization. We return most of gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today at a time when the world is grappling, most importantly, particularly the Islamic Ummah, with serious division, serious conflict, serious internal and regional issues that is killing thousands of our citizens as Muslims. As the President indicated, we must get a concerted effort and resolve to ending those senseless conflicts.
Now, away from the OIC summit, the International Monetary Fund mission team from Washington, D.C. in the USA held a joint press conference on Friday at the IMF office to debrief the public on the outcome of the first review of the Extended Credit Facility Program. Lena E. Winyeva reports.
The International Monetary Fund IMF team engaged in discussions from April 23rd to May 3rd, 2024, with Gambian authorities, development partners, civil society organizations, and the private sector. Following the discussions, they reached a staff-level agreement on the first review of the program, supported under the 36-month Extended Credit Facility ECF arrangement. The ECF was approved in January 2024 for total access of special drawing rights SDR 74.64 million. Subject to approval by the IMF's Executive Board, the completion of the review will enable a disbursement of SDR 8.29 million bringing the total disbursement under the arrangement to about $21.8 million. Ivo Hasina Fizara Razafi Mahefa, head of IMF mission team from Washington, D.C., highlighted the results of their assessment.
We discussed with our technical counterparts, but also with the policymakers, and we came to a conclusion that the performance under this program for the last 6 months was satisfactory. First, we could see, based on information that we collected, that economic growth is continuing to recover. As we all know, the economy suffers quite significantly from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. But for the last year or so, the economic activity is starting to recover.
Mr. Razafi Mahefa stated the main agreements reached with the authorities on key policies for the next 6 months and remaining time for the program.
On the fiscal policy, forward-looking, we agreed with the government that for 2024, the budget and the fiscal framework will remain unchanged compared to what the Parliament and the National Assembly approved as a 2024 budget. So we saw good performance on revenue collection for Q1 2024, meaning the first quarter of 2024, and we agreed with the government to sustain that good revenue collection until the remaining of the year.
He also noted IMF's advice to the government of the Gambia to implement social programs targeting vulnerable groups and allow domestic fuel prices to reflect global fuel prices.
We advised the government to design social programs that are targeting really the vulnerable population so that there would not be any general subsidies or indirect subsidies on fuel prices, because we, the IMF, are of the view that such subsidies benefit more the rich than the poor.
The Central Bank of the Gambia has committed to maintaining a tight monetary policy to ensure that inflation firmly declines. It will also continue close implementation of the recently introduced foreign exchange policy to prevent the re-emergence of foreign exchange shortages. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwenyuba.
Now, the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology has launched the National Technical and Vocational Education Training Committee on Friday. The story by Mahmoud Kajaga is read by Adele Campbell.
According to the officials of the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, the launch of the National TVET Committee signifies a dedicated effort to uphold standards of quality, relevance and inclusivity within TVET and apprenticeship programs nationwide. Dr. Yusuf Ature, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Higher Education, says students choosing TVET education should be able to do so, at least at upper basic school.
So we are saying our system is such that technical education should move from primary all the way to the university, as in the case of the general education. And it is for this reason that we have a university like USET in the Gambia. But in this USET, the degree program should be able to draw students from those technical high schools. If you have your physics, you have your mathematics, art maths, whatever, and some technical subjects, you should be able to enter USET without trouble. Right. Like it is happening now. But it has been a major problem for this institution to get the right caliber of students, from the senior secondary schools, because we are still looking at the type of technical courses that should be introduced at that level. And once that is done, there will be a very seamless, transition.
Buba Tamba, Project Officer in Education, Science and Technology, underscores the setting up of the committee. However, he emphasized the need to empower Gambian skilled workers.
I think it should start with the Gambia first. A lot of us, a lot of government offices, when they want to buy stuffs, they go outside and buy them. I think we need to empower our young people such that anytime we are buying furniture, anytime we are buying anything, fabrics, whatever we are buying, we buy from the people that we are empowering. Otherwise, whatever effort that we are going to do is going to be wasted.
Basiru Seka, principal labor economist at the Ministry of Trade, says they've established centers and platforms for job seekers where one can apply for jobs online at the comfort of their homes.
We are trying to link it with other systems so that somebody can be at home, just log into the internet and apply for a job, submit your application to the Department of Labor, and then they will register you. And when an employer is looking for an employee, they also register with the Department of Labor, and then the two countries, because in our new Labor Act 2023, it is mandatory for employers to register with the Department of Labor. Because you all know we have a policy called the National Employment Policy 2020-26, and that there is a target there that even the President has launched, that we are trying to facilitate the creation of at least 150,000 jobs by the end of 2026.
The aim of technical and vocational education and training to vet in the Gambia is to promote self-employment, employability, enhance socio-economic development, and supporting lifelong learning. Aldal Dilly Campbell reporting for QTV News.
And I'm afraid that's all about it. But before we take a leave of you, here's a recap from main headlines. In a historic event marking the hosting of the much anticipated 15th OIC Summit in Banjul, President Barrow on Saturday received at the conference center representatives of the OIC member states, including presidents, prime ministers, foreign ministers, and vice presidents. In his inaugural address at the opening of the ceremony of the 15th OIC Summit in the Gambia, the Secretary General of the OIC, Hussein Brahim Taha, called on the international community to ensure a permanent ceasefire in Gaza and recognize Palestine's right to nationhood. And addressing delegates at the OIC Banjul Summit, President Barrow, who is now chairman of the organization for the next 3 years, pledged to promote unity, solidarity, and sustainable development within the Islamic world. And following the historic and successful opening of the 15th OIC Summit today, QTV spoke to some of the attendees on the Gambia's hosting of the OIC Summit. The International Monetary Fund mission team from Washington, D.C. in the USA on Friday held a joint press conference to debrief the public on the outcome of the first review of the extended credit facility program. And that's all we have for you in this edition of the news. To join us tomorrow for the final day of the OIC Summit. Until then, on behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching.